Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my garage. My name is Jari and this is my 2024 KTM 690 Enduro R, which I bought brand new last year and turned it into my dream adventure machine. I have been extremely happy with the end result, and maybe the odometer also tells a story of its own, because I have put now more than 15,000 kilometers on the clock since last year. And I think my blood has turned into a bit of orange also along the way. Anyhow, there's a couple of modifications I want to do to make this bike even more perfect for this season. But before going into that, let's have a quick look on the modifications what I have done so far. The most visible one is of course this fairing kit from Red Garage. I have been extremely happy with this one. The lights are super bright, the fairing gives a good protection against wind on highways, and then the tower gives the possibility to mount a proper navigation system in a perfect location. And talking about navigation, for that I used this tablet from DMD along with the matching controller, and couldn't be happier with this setup. It's so amazing to use, and the size and the location of the tablet is perfect as well. Then I have also installed these adventure mirrors and these Parkbuster handguards which I took from my old 790. Then going forward I have installed these handlebar raisers, the auxiliary tank from Red Garage, 5 liters under the seat. Then there's a cooler box here to help with the fueling, and then of course luggage rack for traveling. Then if we continue downwards, here you can see the exhaust system by Arrow. Here is heel guards with possibility to strap luggage on them, and lastly a skid plate from AXP. In addition to these, I made 2 other modifications last season. The other one is these foot pegs. They are 3 centimeters lower than the original ones. I'm 191 centimeters tall, so these made the riding position perfect. And then the other modification is this luggage system from Mosko Moto, the Reckless 10. These are used for shorter day rides. They are 5 liters each, so the perfect size to replace a backpack, and also small enough that you don't notice them while riding. Then another thing I bought for this winter was the second set of wheels with spike tires on them. This was the first winter when I tried winter riding, and I have to say I absolutely fell in love with that and will definitely ride a lot more next winter. And maybe I forgot to mention that there's a separate video about the build from last year. I will put a link to that down in the video description if you are interested. Alright, let's then continue to the modifications, of which the first ones are these clutch and brake levers. I still have these stock ones and they are quite long, and I usually use only 2 fingers to operate them. So I have many times pinched my fingers between the lever and the handlebar. So I have bought now a set of short levers, so let's change those. The second modification will be these handguards. Like I mentioned, I took these Parkbuster handguards from my old KTM 790. They fit here quite well, but not perfectly. And let me show you what is the main issue with these ones. The biggest challenge is here on the right side. Like you can see, the mounting system goes below the brake hose and these cables. And then I've noticed last season that I typically drop the bike on the right side. And then no matter how tight I have mounted this handguard, every time I fall on the right side it somehow twists up the whole system, and then it starts to twist also this brake hose bolt. And then that of course starts to leak, and then I lose my front brake. That happened 2 times last season. So to solve that I have bought original KTM handguards, and those should be able to be mounted so that this mounting system goes from above the brake hose. Then the third modification is this auxiliary tank cap. I have never quite liked this because this breather hose is quite flimsy, and I have lost it a couple of times when I have been filling it up or just messing around with the bike. But luckily there's an updated version from Red Garage, so let's install that. The fourth modification goes under the seat. Hopefully, if I manage to fit it there, it's quite tight here. And it's this OBD scanner from Torque Racing. So this should send information to the DMD tablet like the engine temp and rev counter and things like that. So let's see if we are able to mount that under the seat. The fifth modification is these bushings that are mounted here, and these are just for jacking up the bike easily. And then one notable modification will be the tail tidy. So I will finally move the license plate from here to up here. So that will make the rear end of the bike look much leaner and sleeker. Now let's pause here because while I was browsing the internet on one of the breaks in between the modifications, I came across with an ad for this steering damper by MSC Moto. RM3 is the model. I have been thinking of adding such to the bike, but I think these are just too expensive when new. But actually this is brand new, even though it has had already 2 previous owners. Both of them had issues mounting it with the Red Garage fairing kit. But I have seen this installed with the same setup, so I will give it a shot. You never know, maybe third time is the charm. Alright, let's go back to the original footage. And just like last time, this won't be any how-to video, but continuation to my journey of transforming this bike to my dream adventure machine. So welcome along again. Let's start the work from the handguards and the levers and then work our way towards the rear end. Alright, here we have the original levers and then the short ones from Red Garage. And what we need to do next is move all these mechanisms to these new short levers. Okay, I encountered some issue with the installation of these handguards. Firstly, I noticed that these KTM original frames, they are identical to the Barkbuster ones, made in Australia and so on, so same product basically. First of all, this mount is tapered because the handlebar is thicker from here than from here. So I had to use the left one here to have this mounting point here on the top. So that fits okay. And then if I mount this left one also from the top, it doesn't fit because the clutch hose is on the way. So this one must be fitted from below. So basically I can leave this Barkbuster one on this side. So I think the best solution now is to use this Barkbuster one here on the left and then take this part from the old Barkbuster and mount it here. And then that solves the issue. Alright, the installation of the handguards is now complete. And like you see, there's no change in the looks of the bike because, as I mentioned, these KTM frames are identical to the Barkbuster ones. So I decided to use these Barkbuster plastics instead of these orange ones, because with these there might be even too much orange. But anyway, the main thing is that this mount is now on the top side. So if I drop the bike on the right side, then it doesn't twist anymore the brake hose here. If I would have known that the KTM handguard is the same as the Barkbusters, then I would have maybe only tried to find this left side mounting bracket. But like said, main thing is that this is now solved and now I at least have lots of spare parts if something happens to the handguards. And also the short levers feel really good. Like you can see, there's no more possibility to pinch these fingers between the lever and the handlebar. So that's excellent. Alright, but let's then continue to the installation of the upgraded auxiliary tank cap. Here's how the upgraded tank cap looks like. As you can see, it's a lot better design than this original one. All I need to do is connect this breather hose to the evap canister here on the right side. The installation of the tank cap is now complete, and like you can see, it's a lot better design than the original one. And one additional feature is that now when you remove the cap, it stays on the bike. So that's really good. Let's then continue by installing this OPD scanner from Torque Racing. This is the plug for the OPD scanner, but the challenge is that this is actually quite big and there's not much space here where to mount it. Like here on top of this, there's simply no space where to mount this because there's no room under the seat. And if we take out this ECU, also here there's not enough space where to put this anywhere. Not even here by the battery. The relays are blocking it. It's simply too big. But luckily I have this lithium-ion battery. This is a bit smaller than the original one. I have here some spacers, so let's see if I remove those, if I can fit it there or then on this side. Okay, I think I have figured out where to mount the unit. Like you can see, the battery is a bit smaller than the original one, and I have had this spacer down there to make it fit there properly. So there's two options. One option is to mount the unit here behind the battery, but then the issue is that this plus cable is not long enough to reach the plus terminal here on the battery. So I think I will mount it here between the airbox and the battery, like this. There's plenty of space there. And then it reaches the terminal also quite well. So let's do it that way. So the scanner lives now here. I put some duct tape around it because in this location you always get a little bit of dirt, like you can see from the air filter, even though it should be waterproof, but just to make sure. And I actually already set it up here in the tablet, but the bike needs to be running to show how it works. So I'm not sure if you can hear anything, but let's start the bike and see how it looks. Alright, the scanner is now connected, and here you can see, for example, inlet air temperature, which is basically same as ambient temperature at the moment. Rev counter. Battery voltage, coolant temperature, speed. There's a lot of different information here, but I'm mostly interested in the RPMs and the coolant temperature and this inlet air temperature. Really nice to have information about the ambient temperature when you are traveling. Great, so it works just like planned. So let's now mount the bushings here and then continue with the tail tidy. I blocked the hole here in the rubber with this small bolt so that no dust and dirt can get inside here. So let's put this back together like this. That is good to go. Let's put these screws back on and then mount the license plate here. Okay, so after some planning I decided to use this existing base plate and these two holes to mount this. So somehow like this. And now I will drill a couple of holes here and then it's securely mounted. Alright, the tail tidy is now complete and the cost of this was only these 4 bolts, nuts and washers. And check how good it looks at the moment. I can finally start doing some wheelies as the license plate doesn't hit the ground anymore. And then it's time for the final modification, so installing this steering damper. I have the full kit here from MSC Moto, and then I also have here the mounting brackets which came with the Raid Garage tower, or the fairing kit. So let's see which combination works. But first we need to remove the fairing kit to get better access here. Next I need to remove the handlebars, the mounting bracket for the tower to get access to these nuts under here, because I need to remove these bar risers to mount the steering damper bracket here. Seems that the third time was the charm. I figured out how to mount this MSC Moto steering damper here. The issue with the MSC Moto installation kit is this lower bracket, which interferes with this bracket that holds the Raid Garage tower. So basically what I did was to use this upper mounting bracket that came with the MSC Moto, and then here I used the mounting bracket and the pin which came with the Raid Garage tower. This is for the Scotch steering damper and it fits here perfectly. And as a bonus, the upper bracket is the same height as these bar raisers, so it keeps the position of the handlebars in the same place as previously, which is perfect because the riding position is now tuned for me. But alright, let's mount this properly in place. Alright, the steering damper is now installed and it looks amazing. I can't wait to go for a test ride and adjust these settings and find the right one for me. The final thing I need to do is to modify this part a bit so that it fits here. Now also the cover is modified and fits like a glove. Only thing we need to do now is to fit the fairing back on the tower. The modifications are now complete, and that means that my dream adventure machine should be even more perfect for this season. The weather is quite good at the moment, so let's go for a test ride. because I cannot wait to see how these modifications perform on the trails. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but so far I'm super happy with the steering damper. I've been riding now highways for about 50 kilometers and it feels super stable here in the front. Like you can see, I'm now doing a bit more than 100 and I can easily ride with one hand. Earlier it felt really unstable in these speeds, but now it feels like a bigger bike. The setting is now in the halfway mark, so let's see how it performs in the off-road conditions. I'm heading now towards west because I know that there's some sandy places where I can put the steering damper to the test. But so far really loving it. Let's try to find some off-road next. Alright, let's go to the first off-road section. This is actually part of Transiro Trail Finland. Yeah, this is an old railroad track, so this is full of these big stones or big rocks. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear me what I was saying on the highway there, but there I could definitely immediately feel the difference or the effect of the steering damper. This felt like a bigger bike, even with the high speeds. So really huge improvement for the highway transits. Let's see how it performs here. Some jumps. Some more jumps. Whoa. Whoa. It's been almost a month since I rode the last time, so really loving this one. Alright, then another awesome road. This is so awesome after the long winter. Even though it was the first time I was riding the winter. This is really awesome. Kind of a single track here. Ah, that was so excellent trail. Okay, now I think we can check the OBD data, how that looks. I have set here the intake air temperature. Shows now 29 degrees, which is definitely not the case, but it's super warm. I would say 17 or something like that. But anyway, in the morning that shows the correct temperature, which is really nice. And then here we have the other meters, speed, coolant temperature, battery voltage and rev counter. Nothing I couldn't live without, but just when you have the possibility to have this data, I think it's really nice. But yeah, let's continue and try to find the next off-road section. Alright, now I'm approaching a place where there is a sandy hill. Let's go and try that one. A small jump there again. Yes, this is the place. Let's go and try this. Such a nice trails here, and I really start to notice the effect of the steering damper also here in the forest, because the front feels now a lot more stable than previously. It has always been quite light feeling, and now it's really good. I need to play around with the settings even more to check if I need to make it softer or harder. But so far, excellent. Let's go this way. Okay, then there's a ditch which we need to ride. This one. And then we are back on the road. Yeah, this goes like a freight train here. It's so stable from the front. Totally different than before. Now I really start to see the difference when I have been riding a bit more with this 100 kilometers so far. Excellent. Why didn't I put it immediately here? I mean the steering damper. The short levers, I'm not sure if they are comfortable or not, because the edge of it has quite sharp, this kind of a bend, and it doesn't feel so good in the fingers. But let's keep on riding and see if we get used to that. Otherwise it's perfect, because now I don't pinch these two fingers between the lever and the handlebar. Damn, these trails are awesome, and damn, this KTM is awesome as well. I mean, last year I really loved this, but I think that now it's even more perfect than ever with the steering damper. Only thing I'm still hesitating is the clutch lever. The more I have been now riding, the worse it feels. So it just might be that I need to change it back to the original one. I simply don't like the shape of it. I will show it to you later. Now we need to continue this way. Alright, now this is some sandy stuff. The front just keeps on being stable. Oh, that was awesome. Just a really nice test for the steering damper. Alright, found this kind of a lean-to, but I have been now riding more than 200 kilometers, so I think it's time to have a drinking break and also maybe time to end this video. What an awesome day, awesome ride, and especially awesome bike. Now after 200 kilometers I'm especially happy with the steering damper. Like I mentioned, I wasn't originally planning on installing such, and I bought it only because I got it for so cheap. And now I'm wondering, why didn't I put it there in the first place? It transforms completely how the front end feels like. Now it's very stable in all conditions, from highway speeds down to sand riding. So I would say that if you want the best handling upgrade for this bike, get the steering damper. Then about the other modifications, like I mentioned on the trail, I'm not fully satisfied with this short clutch lever. The issue is basically the end of it. It's quite sharp here, and also the radius here is quite steep. So when you are operating it like this, the end always comes to the middle finger, and it's really not feeling so good, especially when riding 200 kilometers and using this quite a lot. I still feel it here in the middle finger. So I need to consider if I will change this back to the original one. And then the short brake lever, this feels absolutely perfect. The difference here is that the movement is not so long as with the clutch, so you don't really feel the end of this lever. So this is perfect and this is staying. And actually I made one improvement which I didn't film. It was fixing the rattling of this rally tower. If you have been watching my earlier videos, you might have noticed that when the going gets tough, this gets rattling, but not anymore. Now it's fixed extremely solid. And what I did was that I added some dampening here on the lower frame mount of the tower, and now it's solid like a rock, doesn't rattle anymore. And then of course the tail tidy made the bike look a lot more aggressive. And then of course the tank cap for the auxiliary tank, this is just perfect. Now it stays on the bike when I'm filling it, so it doesn't fly out and roll in the ground anymore. So this is a huge improvement. And there's of course no more breather hose here sticking out. And finally the OBD scanner, not so important, but really nice to have information on the DMD tablet. So all in all I would say that I have even further improved my dream adventure machine. Alright, now I think it's time to end this video. And now that the riding season has started, I will concentrate on adventures and making more content for future videos. So most likely there will be a break before the next video, but I hope you enjoyed this one and see you in the next video.